Oh man, watch this. A dead queen ant, green and gorgeous. Sadly, she was one of the many unlucky ones. And just next to her, three royal queens, huddled in their silken nest, protecting their new set of brood. We'll get to meet these three royal weaver ant sisters in a bit. But first, let's remove this dead body. Now you guys will love my plans for this new weaver ant trio, and I'm elated to finally bring back weaver ants once again to the channel. Stay tuned because you guys will all be involved in their fate as well. Welcome to the Ants Canada Ant Channel. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Welcome to the AC fam. Enjoy. Weaver ants. Arguably one of the most unique and highly coveted ant species in the world. And of course, highly desired by ant keepers like myself. They form their iconic leaf basket nests within trees and shrubs, with leaves all bound together using silk produced by their larvae. Now, as some of you may know, I've had a massive colony of weaver ants in the past on this channel. If you recall, the Great Emerald Empire, but had to set them free back into the wild during the pandemic when I was forced to downsize. But now that the pandemic is over, and we finally moved into our AC ant house, I've been trying to work at bringing these web-spinning ants back to the channel. Last year, I came close, raising a solo weaver ant queen in a plastic bottle to her first set of nanitics. But strangely, after going away for a few days out of town, I was surprised to return to the queen completely and mysteriously gone from the bottle. I suspected it was a colony of pharaoh ants that broke into their setup and killed them, leaving not a single trace of exoskeleton behind. But I'm back again this year, trying once more, but this time is extra special. Having this sorority of weaver ant queens that have come together and chosen to cooperatively raise their colony, a process known as pleiometrosis, will be amazing to document for scientific purposes. Because based on my previous discussions with my myrmecologist friend, Dr. David General, little is known about how weaver ant colonies start. I obtained the Old Emerald Empire by taking an already established weaver ant nest and placing it into a terrarium, so I couldn't film nor observe their origin story. What we do know is that weaver ants are polygynous, which means weaver ant colonies can contain more than one queen ant. We know that queen weaver ants come together after mating in their nuptial flight and found colonies pleiometrotically, as you can see in this video sent to me from my farmer friend Angie Mead King, of a ton of weaver ant queens all huddled together on one of her citrus plants. Go check out her farmer videos, by the way. They're awesome. But other than that, we don't actually know how the colonies start up in the wild, what their success rate is, if more queen ants means greater chance of success in the wild, etc. So this weaver ant queen sorority will be of great interest to ant science. Now you guys will love the future setup I have planned for them, which I'll get to in a sec. But first, let's meet our beautiful queens, shall we? Within this silken web chamber, spun using silk produced by the eldest larvae, three queen weaver ants huddled together. There's a yellow queen guarding the entrance, a brown queen, and a green queen. Pretty cool how the queens of this species come in varying shades and colors like this. I placed the four weaver ant queens together in this large container, and the three of these queens huddled together in the corner and began laying eggs together. The fourth queen, who died, never laid eggs, which probably meant she wasn't fertilized. But it's been 3 weeks now, and their collective brood has gotten bigger and bigger. I'm pretty sure all three of these queens have been successfully fertilized and are all contributing to the egg batch. It's pretty amazing what these queens have to go through in the wild before their first set of mature larvae arrive to allow them to spin a protective silk chamber like this. Because for the first couple of months before then, the weaver Weaver Ants must brave harsh weather conditions, as it's now rainy season at the time of this founding stage. Plus, they need to aggressively ward off enemies and predators, including other ants. I suspect banding together like this increases their chance of success in the wild, simply because the more queens you have to protect the brood, the better. And the more eggs you can amass in a shorter time period, the more initial workers you have to pioneer the starting colony. So, AC family, time for your help. What should we name these three gorgeous Weaver Ant queens? Let me know your name suggestions in the comments, and I will choose my top 5 favorites for all of us to vote on in a future video. Alright, AC family, and now time to share with you guys my plans for their epic future housing. So this trio is being housed in a long container. For humidity, I have a moistened cotton ball. This setup is enough for them right now. Eventually, we can move them into an actual plant. But as much as possible, I'd like to house this starting Weaver Ant colony in this container, so we can film them for as long as possible, as the colony grows. Now as for their epic setup, AC family, listen to this. So have any of you ever seen those indoor beehive setups, where the beehive is encased in glass, and we could have full view of the bee colony from indoors, but a tube connects the colony with the outdoors, so the bees could leave and collect their nectar and pollen as they normally would outside? Well, what I hope to do with this colony is to attempt something similar. I would like to keep raising them in this container, which at one end has a hole currently blocked by cotton. But this hole can act as an exit to an open window space of my ant room. I'll just block the rest of the space off with glass or mesh. But once the worker ants of the colony do arrive, they can wander out on their own out of this hole and collect their own food outside as they would in the wild. The ants could climb down to ground level from the ant room and forage for food as they normally would. I'm not concerned that they might be too high, because I see Weaver Ant nests as high up as the roof deck, a whole story up on the 3rd floor of the AC Ant house. Anyway, the reason I love this idea is because first, of course, less maintenance, because I wouldn't need to feed the colony anymore, as they'd be collecting the necessary insects they need from the wild, which by the way would be much more nutrient dense than any feeder insect I could offer. Plus, the Weaver Ants would be able to collect food types that I couldn't possibly provide, like honeydew from plant insects. In fact, I could probably even help them out by fixating a black light on a timer that turns on at night, so I could attract their insect prey right at their doorstep, to further increase their chances of catching the food they need. This would not be very hard to do, and also awesome to film from below the ants, as they hunt for insects against the window. Plus, once the colony gets to a size where they need to move into a plant, I can easily remove this lid and attach the entire container to a large terrarium with a plant growing inside. I say terrarium and not simply a plant on an island with an ant barrier, because I don't want mosquitoes and other insects coming into my ant room through the hole. Plants seem to do really well in my ant room, so I won't need any grow lights, unlike in the previous Emerald Empire setup. Now there is a chance the ants might just simply decide to move their entire colony into a nearby tree and totally desert us. But the ants will be at the perfect temperature in my ant room. They'll be free of disturbance and competing Weaver Ant nests, and free of torrential winds and rain. So my hopes is they'll choose to stay put. We could film everything and not need to maintain anything, except for watering the plant the ants live on, of course. So what do you guys think? If we could pull this off, I think it would be one of the craziest and most epic ant setups we've ever done on the channel. Let me know your thoughts. I'll be sure to keep you all updated on the progress of this Weaver Ant sorority. The first set of workers should be arriving any day now, and when they do, you can rest assured I'll be there to film everything and attach this container to the window, and thereby all of us, AC family, could take part in ant scientific history and exciting ant research. So if you haven't yet, do hit that subscribe button to be part of this continuing ant story, and hit the like button to let YouTube know you enjoyed these ant videos and that they're worth sharing to new audiences. Thank you all so much for watching and supporting the ants. It's and love forever. Hope you can subscribe to the channel as we upload every Saturday at 8 a.m.